Today, we're diving into a case that really shook up America back in the 50s, the story of Harvey Glatman. You might know him as the Lonely Hearts Killer.
Oh yeah, a fascinating and chilling case for sure.
So we're going to get into his crimes, how they caught him, and what his case actually taught us about serial killers. And this idea of stranger danger,
Right.
Get ready for a pretty intense trip back in time as we uncover the story of the Lonely Hearts Killer.
Well, it's fascinating how Glatman didn't just go after anyone. No, he went after people chasing that American dream. They wanted the spotlight, and he used that.
Yeah, he was very deliberate. He targeted aspiring models because he knew they were, vulnerable. They wanted to be discovered.
Right.
And he twisted that, used their ambition against them. It's really quite scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And between 1957 and 58, he pretended to be a big-time photographer, scouting for new talent. Can you imagine? You're a young woman, you've got Hollywood dreams, and this charming guy comes along promising you fame and fortune.
Yeah.
It's almost like he was like the dark side of the dream itself, preying on the people who wanted it most.
Yeah, exactly. Exploiting that desire. It's really awful.
It really is. How did he actually do it, though? Did he just walk up to them on the street or something?
Think about casting calls, right?
Right.
Even today, there's a certain amount of trust involved. You're meeting someone new, you don't really know them, could be in a private setting, and you're hoping for your big break. Glatman, he took advantage of that, made contacts, scheduled photo shoots, made it all sound very official. But it was all a lie, just a carefully constructed trap.
Okay, let's talk about the evidence they found. We know he took pictures of his victims.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about those?
These weren't your typical photographs. They were more like souvenirs, disturbing images of his victims, tied up, terrified, often taken just before he killed them.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't just about the murders themselves for him. He got some kind of pleasure from documenting it all. It was like he was reliving the crimes through the pictures. It's a really messed up part of the case. Gives you a glimpse into his mind.
And those photos, those are real people. People with families, dreams, lives.
Yeah.
And he just took it all away. Judy Dull, she was a young mother trying to take care of her kids. She was one of his victims. And Shirley Ann Bridgeford, she'd just moved to California, wanted to be an actress. And then Ruth Mercado. Each of these women had a whole story, and Glatman just erased them.
It's just heartbreaking. And the way he did it, the manipulation using their hopes against them, that's what makes it so disturbing.
It makes you wonder, how can we be smarter about this? How can we protect ourselves from these kinds of people, the ones who lie and manipulate?
That's a tough question. But Glatman's case, as awful as it is, it reminds us that we can't just trust blindly, especially when something sounds too good to be true.
That's for sure. And thankfully, his reign of terror didn't go on forever.
Yeah.
One of his victims, Lorraine Vigil, she fought back. She was incredibly brave, and she escaped.
Lorraine Vigil is a true hero of this story. Her quick thinking and her courage, it stopped Glatman. And then he actually confessed in a lot of detail.
Really?
Yeah.
It's almost like you wanted to brag about it or something.
There was definitely an element of that, yeah. But for the investigators, it was a look inside the mind of a serial killer. They don't get that very often. And his confession, it showed just how little empathy he had, how he planned everything out, the disturbing pleasure he got from reliving those murders through those photographs.
So did this case change how we understand serial killers? I mean, did it have a lasting impact?
Oh, absolutely. Glatman's case was kind of a turning point in forensic psychology. It helped them develop early profiles for serial killers.
So the characteristics they look for.
Exactly. Behavioral patterns, warning signs, things that might get missed otherwise. And those profiles help us understand what motivates them, what sets them off.
Wow. It's a chilling reminder that we need to learn from these dark parts of history.
Absolutely. Forensic psychologists are actually still studying Glatman's case today, looking at his behavior, the psychopathic tendencies, searching for those patterns that can help us prevent these kinds of things from happening again.
It's pretty amazing that a case from the 50s is still relevant today.
It is.
Glatman was eventually convicted and executed in California in 1959, but his legacy goes way beyond that, right?
Right. The Glatman case became a cautionary tale, about stranger danger.
Right.
It made people realize that anyone could create a fake identity to lure victims, and it really changed how the public saw threats.
Especially for those in the modeling world, like the women he targeted. It's a really stark warning, about the dangers out there.
Absolutely. It highlights how important it is to be careful. Don't meet with strangers alone, especially photographers or agents you don't know. Always check their credentials,
Yeah, always be careful. That's good advice for everyone, really.
Absolutely.
So we've explored this really horrifying case. It's a dark look at the American dream.
Yeah.
But it also makes us wonder, how has our understanding of stranger danger changed since Glatman?
That's the big question, isn't it? The world's changed a lot since the 50s, but we still need to be aware, trust our instincts, protect ourselves and others. That's never going to go out of style.
Well said. And on that note, I encourage you all to keep learning about this stuff. We've only scratched the surface here. There's a lot more to discover. The evolution of forensic psychology, the efforts to prevent these horrible crimes, it's all out there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.